We are so excited to be able to be here with you tonight and be able to share. This is our second craft along. Our friends in the South Pacific did another craft along earlier. Well, for us, Mountain Time, it would have been 2 a.m. this morning. But so if you missed that, we're excited to have you here. Or if you saw that last night, we're excited to have you here for a second time to see what we're doing, and things will be just a little bit different.
Definitely. We've got, we're different.
Well, that's true.
We have different suites that we're using. So we're excited to show you that.
So our accents aren't quite as,
Yeah, we
aren't quite as fun.
Accent, yeah.
I think we do have an accent, Utah accent.
Yes. Hi, Vicki and Glenda, Christine, Darla. It's so good to see so many of you popping on. Numbers keep going up, so I was going to give it just a second before we get started. Does that sound okay?
I'm ready. I think
I know you're ready.
We got all these people that are here.
We're at 2 minutes, 2 minutes over. We're getting on as fast as they can. If you have anybody who's having a hard time getting on and they have requested to join Demonstrator Planning Place so they can see this tonight, please make sure that they answered the questions. If they didn't answer the questions, they'll be automatically denied. So have them go back in and answer those, and we'll be approving those as quickly as we can tonight. And we have Shari helping with some of that too. So hopefully we'll get some of those approved. But if you didn't answer questions, you will not be, you won't be bumped on. So if somebody reaches out, make sure to remind them to do that. Okay. Let's kick off things by a quick DDM, a quick hello from all of us DDMs, right? We've got 4 of us here tonight. We are all from the US and we all have different areas. I don't know if they can hear you. Do you want to come over here and say hi?
The big room, so yeah.
How about you come over here and say hi? Or should I just unmute you?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to mute me and I'm going to unmute Heather. Or Heather, you unmute and then you can talk.
You got it? Okay. All right. Hey, everyone. We have been so excited and looking forward to this for weeks now. Thrilled that you're able to join us. My name is Heather Lambert, and I am, just like Natalie said, one of the US DDMs, and I help support the South area. Okay, hi, I'm Shannon West, and I am DDM in the US in the Great Lakes area, and so pleased to be with you all today. This is going to be a blast, and we have been planning this for weeks, so grab your stuff, grab your popcorn, grab whatever you need, and get ready.
All right, and I'm Elizabeth Belleville. I'm also a demonstrator development manager. My area is the United States Northeast, and we have been planning so much fun content. So excited that it's finally here.
Perfect. Now let me make sure I turned on my volume. So now, am I back? Perfect. Now yes, I am. Okay. Just had to make sure we're muting at the right time. And I don't think I introduced myself. I am Natalie White, and my area is the West area of the US. Okay. So let's share a little bit about what you can expect tonight. Our gathering is all about reconnecting you with other crafters. We want to spark some fresh ideas and some inspiration, and we want to provide you with a class or event idea that you can take and run with it. So it's really exciting. We're also going to be crafting together, but I have a few other things we want to share first. So tonight you'll meet 2 of our artisans. We have videos from them, and throughout the gathering we'll be showcasing a range of our current products, and then we have a fun craft along portion, which is our mystery stamping portion. So have you got all your products close by and ready to go? And if not, be sure to collect them in the next few minutes. Or if you want, you can just watch. That's okay too. We don't mind that at all. We hope that you're inspired by what we're sharing and you'll be able to get some ideas that way. Along the way, we're going to be asking some questions, and we'd love to have you involved and share as much as possible. We're also going to be giving out Stampin' Rewards prizes and randomly selecting names from those of you who share in the comments at our 2 craft along events that we've had. So be sure to engage in the thread. And the winners will be notified after these 2 events. So we had our first one after this one. We're going to be sharing the recordings and resources of the craft along after this on Demonstrator Planning Place. So you'll be able to check back and see those. That'll be a post that Shannon's putting up. You'll be able to check back. You'll have all those resources, and you can rewatch this if you wish to. And then there's going to be a new post in a new post in Weekly Updates that will have a link to both of these. So you'll be able to watch that again. Okay. So before we get started, I want to know, we were talking about what kind of things do we want to know? What kind of things can we ask? And one of the things we wanted to ask was, what made you want to join tonight? When you saw that we were doing a craft along, what was it that you were excited about? What made you want to engage in this? What made you want to take a couple hours out of your night to join us? Go ahead and put all that in the comments, and we'd love to see it. I'll give you just a second. And while you're doing this, Heather is going to get our first presenter keyed up. We want you to sit back and enjoy. You're going to meet Laura Moss. She's one of our artisans from the South Island of New Zealand. She's sharing a range of amazing products from our new I cannot talk tonight. Sharing a range of products from our new mini and annual catalog. All right, we good, Heather? She's going to go ahead and get that going.
Hi, my name's Lara and I'm a current member of the Artisan Design team. I'm going to share a couple of projects with you today using the September to December mini catalogue as well as the online exclusives that go live in September as well. I have been scrapbooking since 2003. I had 3 young children at that stage. They are now all grown up. That was sort of over 22 years ago that I started this sort of creative outlet. My grandmothers on both my father and mother's side were avid diary keepers, so they would have a daily diary or note of what they'd been doing, and even though I tried, I was never able to stick with that quite the same. So I took to scrapbooking, and I love that I am able to sort of curate family memories, little moments in time, little snapshots, little things that we have done over the years, and that has changed. What I'm documenting has changed with, it's now sort of more my husband and I doing things, but the friendships that I've made along the way have also continued throughout it, so we still get together, and in a way we've grown up with our children together, and some friends are even documenting their grandchildren, which is exciting as well. Being a member of the Artisan Design team has been amazing. The opportunities to create with things I wouldn't necessarily purchase to create with, the team that we work with, it's just been a wonderful year so far. Still a few more months to go. Over here in New Zealand, we're just sort of coming to the end of winter and starting spring, so it's kind of like there's a freshness and things to what we're doing. So I just want to say thank you, Emma, for inviting me to share today, and I'm going to flip to my other camera so that you can see what I'm going to be working with today. Just look at this lovely pile here of things. So the photos I'm going to be scrapbooking are of a wedding bouquet of a friend who got married recently, and I'm going to be using the Early Espresso and Old Olive threads. I have just flipped through the tags there, so that's the pattern tags dies. I'm going to use some of the leaves from this Harvest Home Garland kit, and I'm going to use this white velvet paper as well, so it's a little bit fuzzy. You can't quite see the beautiful nature of it here, but it just adds a nice softness to the finish. And the paper, or the DSPs that I'm going to use here, is all part of the Autumn Toil, and there's sort of 3 of each design, and on one side they're a little bit more patterned, and on the other side we have more of a neutral texture, and it's mainly these neutral sides that I'm going to be using. I just really liked how the Early Espresso sort of helped the greens and the whites of this bouquet sort of stand out, so that's why I've selected this collection for it. So there's that white velvet, and just sort of seeing how they all layer up together, and the deer dots as well as a couple of the inks. So what I'm going to do first is sort of prepare my background. I have sped this up a bit. I have a 10-minute time limit, so I am just showing you that process of building up the colour. Now I had the piece of paper, the DSP down the bottom there that's going to be on the finished layout, and that was just sort of to indicate where things will start. Now you'll notice that it's sort of quite heavyish down that base piece there. That's not a problem, because with the layout design I've got in my head, I'm going to actually cover this up with some of those pattern tags dies. So I'm just sort of building up some of the colours. Now the colours I selected here were the ones labelled as going with that Autumn Toil DSP. So you'll just saw here that I added some splatters of water, and I'm now just using the heat tool just sort of to dry them up a little bit more. I find that if I dry the front and the back, it seems to flatten out a little bit better. So now I'm going to add some white sort of splatters on here, so adding a little bit of water to that white ink, rather than it just sort of being super thick. Now this does take quite a while to dry, so I would suggest that you go and do some other things while you let this dry if you don't have a heat tool. So we'll get that dried, and I'm going to pop that aside and work on some of those tags and things. So what I have done off screen there, just so that you're not seeing all of the things, is I went and cut out those tags from the DSP. I've used sort of a few of the patterns as well as the plain one. So now I'm just going to cut down this sort of white velvet paper to the right thickness, and I am going to do the same with our adhesive paper here. I quite like to back die cuts, especially when they're going to be titles, so that it means that when I go to stick them down on the page, they stick down a lot better. Now this particular size, the party alphabet, doesn't need it quite so much. You've got a good surface there for sticking things down. So now I'm sort of playing a bit of a jigsaw puzzle to try and get those pieces to fit on there. It meant that I didn't put them in order, but playing around with that Y means that all of those letters fit in. So then I'm just going to put them through my mini die cut machine, my mini Stampin' Emboss I should say, and I am going to cut those out. The next component I want to share with you is using the Harvest Home Garland Kit leaves that I've taken out here. I am going to use our handy little tool to poke some holes all the way through the leaves, so that on one side there's sort of an indent and one side it pokes out a little bit. I'm using the indented side as my guide, and I am sort of poking the holes, thinking about the fact that I'm going to need two, because I'm not going to fill these in and do sort of go back and do the back stitch. I'm just going to leave that slip stitch kind of in there because I want it to be obvious that I've got stitching. When I look at this layout, the flower bouquet was actually put together on the morning of the wedding, and we sort of put it together right there and then, so it sort of got that homemade feel as well as that nice sort of effect. So I wanted the slip stitch to look homemade. So I've gone ahead, poked those holes in, grabbed my needle and threaded it up with the old olive linen thread, and now I'm just sort of going to go through and do my stitching. So I've finished all of that stitching, and I
Do you have Craft Along to be on there?
Oh,
Phew! Goodness. Now here's the good thing about this is as you start to do events, like we've been planning this for how long? Weeks.
yeah.
Like weeks and weeks.
Yeah.
We've been planning this for weeks. We have practiced this. We have done everything we can to be able to prepare for this, the very best that we could prepare for this. And you have a hiccup, right? So you just move forward. You just lean in. What do we always say? You just lean into it. You just lean into some of the crazy. It's not the end of the world. So we're starting this again. If you missed the first part in the intro, go ahead. You can go back and watch that. We will be sharing Laura's video here after. So if you missed that, we'll share that here on the page. If we run into problems with any of the other videos we share, we're going to do the same thing. We'll just share them on the page so you'll be able to see that. I'm pretty confident, knock on wood, scratch on black, that when we go to the mystery stamping part that Shannon's going to be doing, she's doing that live here with us. And so I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to see that part of it. But if there's any problems with videos, we'll just deal with them from there, right? You'll be able to see them after that. Okay, so if you got to see what Laura shared, it was amazing. And if you missed it, please go back and watch it. She uses the white velvet cardstock, which I haven't used yet other than to just touch it because it feels wonderful and I absolutely love it. One of the other things she shared that I'm so glad she did was using adhesive sheets. I like to use adhesive sheets for like, especially, and she mentioned it too, like lettering when she does it on layouts. I love to use it with like the mini alphabet and anything like that. If you have not used the adhesive sheets, get some. They're amazing to use. And then I also loved her tip. She shares about when she dries the cardstock, she dries the front and the back, and that helps it keep smooth and flat. And I thought those were two really, really great tips that she shared. So go back and watch that if you haven't already. I think we're ready to move right over to Shannon. So we're going to move over to the mystery stamping portion of today, and we'll turn it on over to her.
Okay. Woo. 1 second. We got multiple audios here. Hi, friends. Ready for a little mystery stamping? I am. I can't wait. So you probably saw the supply list already, and you've got your supplies with you, right? And if you don't, that's okay. Just run around as I'm talking, gather up a few things, and you can join in when you're ready. For this mystery stamping today, we're going to do a really fun activity that's actually been right before your very eyes. Maybe you just haven't known it yet. And this mystery stamping session will be about an hour. We planned this event for 2 hours. We have about an hour of other content and an hour of mystery stamping. So that's not very much time, and we won't get our cards completely finished today. Instead, we're going to focus on laying the foundation of these 6 cards and modeling a mystery stamping event for you so that you can take what we do tonight and you could recreate it tomorrow with your friends and customers if you want to. We have this handy little resource right here. And we haven't given this to you yet, but we will tonight after the event. There's going to be this one big post. It'll be under my name, so you can look for it. I'm all ready to post as soon as this is over. We're posting these in every language. You can see every single cut has inches and centimeters. And so anybody should be able to use it. Okay, let's see, what else was I going to tell you? So we're modeling an example event for you here, but we also hope you can relax and have a good time. That's what we're trying to do here. And we've got lots of different projects to show you. I myself have 4 different sets of these 6 cards to show you. Elizabeth's got some, Natalie's got some, Heather's got some. We're all here in the same room, just a little bit spread out. Okay, let's see. I think that's all of the boring stuff. So I'm going to switch this over to my hands and we can start. So let's see, where's my video? There we go. Okay, the very first thing on the supply list was your mini catalog. So here you go. Here's my mini catalog. And I'm going to slide this forward a little bit so it's not so far away maybe. There we go, rearranging here. Wait, what happened? Why did we move? There we go, okay. Okay, so let's see, mini catalog. This is just my mini catalog. I've got all these tabs in it for different things that I wanted to see. And so we need that. And then here's your other supplies that we told you to bring along with you. So there's a suite is what we said, or you could piece together other different things depending on what you like. I've brought along, what is the name of this? I can't remember. North Pole Delivery. That's the suite that I'll be using today. Lots of papers to choose from. And this one also has like lots of little die cuts. That was one reason I picked it because I love all these little die cut ephemera things that we're including in DSP. This is one of them. Okay, so that's first. Next, the bundle that goes along with it. Whoops, I didn't have that ready, but this has lots of different dies. Well, I don't have that ready, but there you go. You can kind of see them in there. Dies that go along with the bundle, stamp set. And we said one really large die. So I've got this one. I'll show you how to use that. And then we also said to bring, if you didn't have a large die in your die set, you could use labels. And then also encourage you to bring along something like stylish shapes. So I've got a little tip to go along with that. I'll put those aside for now. And then everybody needs 3 solid pieces of cardstock. That's going to give us 6 card bases. And some neutral cardstock. Any color will do, whatever you like with your particular suite. Okay, and then I think, let me see, on our supply list, we also had Stampin' Blends. I kind of did I was an overachiever on my Stampin' Blends. I brought a lot. I don't know if I'll end up using them all. You'll see in just a bit. I brought a couple of ink pads. I actually brought one that's not even in the suite, Pretty in Pink. I'm kind of like rebelling a little bit, I guess. Real Red Garden Green and a blending brush. We encouraged you, if you didn't want to bring Stampin' Blends, you could also do watercolor pencils or some sort of coloring tool. And let's see, I think that's pretty much it. That's the list. Didn't really share it in the right order. Bone folder, paper trimmer, adhesives. Here's what I'm using. Got these dots to go along with it. And we also said an optional embossing folder. So I've got this exposed brick. All right, Elizabeth, you're right here. Do you want to show what you got, or should I just tell them? Oh yeah, let's show
Yeah.
that paper. Yeah.
I'm using the Gathering Together. It's one of the new online exclusives.
Ooh, and it's gold. Can you see that gold? Oh my word, look at that on the screen. That looks amazing. That's fun.
Show the back of it. I think
Oh,
the
the
back is
back?
super cute too.
Yeah, they're like tiny little leaves. Cute. Like from far away, you just think they might be just little
Flex.
dots or something. Yeah, flecks. Yeah, that's perfectly said. Okay. And let's see, Natalie and Heather have got two different suites they're going to be showing us as we go along. So we're going to try to stay just on this camera. So we'll be bringing things in and out. All right, let's move to page 42 of our mini catalogs. This is page 42. You probably recognize this page, and it's a pretty cool resource. So as we started talking about what we could do for mystery stamping, this was, I think, pretty much the first idea that was brought up, and we were all like, oh yeah, that's so cool. Because look at how our designers took one piece of 12 by 12 and cut it into these pieces that were then used on these cards over here. So the first thing I think we need to do, and I'm going to zoom in my camera a little bit so you can see closer. I brought my Sharpie. I've been waiting to do this because I'm just going to write in my catalog, okay? So I encourage you to do that too. Did you know that Stampin' Blends are kind of like Sharpies? So if you don't have a Sharpie, you can use one of your Stampin' Blends and write on these so that you can follow along and know exactly what we're doing today. This resource that we're providing for you, these are exactly this right here. So this piece right here is going to be card number 1, card number 2, card number 5. So follow right along with me if you want to write in your catalog. I can't think of a reason why you wouldn't want these numbers in here. So there you go. I'm giving you permission. 6, 3, 4. And then this row is card 4, card 5, and card 5. I mean, card 5 is kind of hogging all over the paper. I don't know what's going on there. But the reality is you have a whole suite and a whole package of paper, so you can add to it however you want.
Will you remind people when they'll get that PDF?
Yeah, the PDF will be posted online right after this recording is over. And it has links to all of, I think there's like 6 or 7 or something like that. So you can find the one that matches the language that you want and download that. Okay, now this is the one part that's maybe a little bit weird in hindsight. I thought we could have reconfigured it, but card 1 is going to be this one right here. I'm going to just write right on the card. I'm committing. Card 1, card 2, card 3, card 4, card 5, and card 6. So the reason we didn't do them in order was because we were keeping this in perfect order. We're considering the designer series paper that we're about to cut together. That's the important part. So as we cut, we're going to go through the cards that way. Okay, so I'll be bringing this back in often. I've also got these finished cards to show you a more close-up version because I've been looking at this for weeks. And when I saw the finished cards, I thought they were even super incredible. Oh, okay.
Make sure your microphones aren't covered so that.
Oh, okay. Is it not? Yeah, it's kind of far away. Yeah, I can pull it forward. All right, let me see. Maybe I need to turn.
You do that sneakily. That's
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing?
lurking.
Get away from my computer, Natalie. You've got your own computer. Go back. Anyway.
There we go.
Okay. So I'll just set this aside, but not very far. It'll be back for a visit. All right, let's go on to, let's see, what's next? Whew, let me find my script and make sure I'm doing the right thing. Oh, here we go. All right. So I've got my paper trimmer and I'm going to slide this over and we're going to get cutting right now. The first thing that we're going to do is cut our card bases. And then as we place them out here, then as we cut our designer series paper, we can just layer them on top of the card bases and have them in nice little piles. So all of my 3 card bases, I'm going to cut hamburger style. Do you guys know what hamburger style is? It's a card. Well, I'll show you when I get done. So I'm going to score at 4 1/4 and cut at 5 1/2. Now, as I'm doing this craft along today, I'm going to be sharing everything in both measurements. So we're scoring at 4 1/4 and cutting at 5 1/2. And that measurement, trick friends that are doing that, doing in metric. Hold on, let me check and make sure I'm getting it right. Okay, you're going to score at 10 1/2 centimeters and cut at 14.8. This is like actually the very first measurement that I ever learned as a card maker, the standard card base. So you probably don't even need me to say that. But I did want to show you the difference between hamburger and hot dog cards because I think that's such a cool thing.
And if you have new customers who are like, if you hold a mystery event, you have new customers coming, they might not even have any idea.
They
what
might
it
know.
means.
Yeah. So this
You
is
know?
this is a hamburger card. And had we cut it this way, it's a long skinny card. That's a hot dog card. And the thing about this was such a, when I first learned this, I'm like, what? You can get 2 card bases out of 1 piece of cardstock perfectly? That's amazing. I was just so wowed by that and so excited, but probably really it happened the other way around. Like somebody picked up the piece of paper, then made cards out of it, and then that became a standard. I don't know. Anyway, okay, so I've got Poppy Parade, Pool Party, and Petal Pink. Those are 3 colors in the suite. And so I've got those 6 cards right there. So if you've got those, I've grabbed my bone folder somewhere around here. Got it. You need yours for you.
Right.
Everyone's so helpful around here. Okay, I'm gonna just take my cards like this and just making them individually so that when I crease it like this, it will crease them all in this one big pile. I know, amazing, right? So at this point, you can kind of just lay them out like so. And as we cut our designer series paper, you can one by one decide which you want for each card base. I mean, theoretically speaking, if you pick, depending on which designer series paper you pick, you probably have most of these colors on each paper, so it shouldn't matter too much. So this is the designer series paper that I'm going to pick that we're going to cut into different columns and pieces. And so I would encourage you, as you're looking through your stack and trying to pick which one to pick one that has maybe some white in the background because we're going to do some coloring. And so you want to keep that in mind. Which ones might have some opportunity for coloring. Now this is green and you might not think that there's coloring opportunities here, but you hold on because I got some fun things planned. So this is the piece that I'm going to use. And we are going to I'm going to bring in the mini catalog again. So this is actually the same piece. And then it's just showing us that these are the card fronts that were used. And then these other pieces were flipped over and used on the other side. You can follow this exactly. You can flip over different ones if you want to. This is your personal thing. But having said that, if you're doing this with customers, you want to probably keep to 1 piece of designer series paper so that that's the most efficient way to do it. So you don't want to get too flowery maybe, especially if they're new customers. But you've got lots of options. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay, I've got this handy dandy little cutting guide. And this is just a table version of what's on the resource that we're giving you. And I'm just going to I've just got this here so I can keep it close to me while I'm cutting. So the very first cut we're going to do is we're going to cut 3 columns like this. And so in imperial, they're going to be 4 inches apart. And for metric, they're going to be 10.15. And that actually doesn't quite get you to 30.5, but it's as close as we could come with 3 different columns. So I've got my 4 inches. There's column 1. I'll just set this aside and do that one more time. Cut at 4 inches. Okay, so hopefully you're doing this right along with me. Are you cutting yours up? When we're done on this resource post that I'm doing later today, we're going to invite you to share what you make. So we want you to keep up as much as you can and share your projects with us so that we can all ooh and ah at all the different things that we've created. Okay, what is next here? Let's keep on our 12 by 12 cutting. Okay, so the next step, we want to take our first, so I'm going to try to kind of keep these in order like this. I mean, it doesn't really matter per se, but we're following this cutting guide, so I'm going to do my best. So I'll just set these aside, but they're still side by side like that. One other thing I forgot to mention, but I did show you the right way. You want to keep your direction up. So this is the top if your paper has a direction. If it doesn't have a direction, you were much wiser in your choosing than I was, but it will work either way. Let's cut this piece. So we need 2 card fronts, and then there's going to be a little piece left at the top. So I'm going to stick the bottom of my DSP into my paper trimmer and cut this at 5 1/4 inch. Or metric, I'm going to cut it at 13.3 centimeters. There we go. And I'm going to just set that over here. Same thing again, 2 in a row, exactly the same. 5 1/4 inch or 13.3 centimeters. And then what's left at the top is a little piece that's 1.5 inches or 3.9 centimeters. So you can see they're all in a row here now. I've got my 3 pieces. And if we come back to our catalog, this is card 1, this is card 2, and this is card 5. So this is card 1. Put that here. I'll pretend like this. I mean, I won't pretend. I'll say this is card 1. Look, I even have little post-it notes. If you have some of those, you can use them. Card 1. This is card 2. And this little one is going to be card 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops. So this one needs to be 3. Elizabeth singing the numbers song. I think Claire and Emma were singing that on their version last night too. And Emma said she didn't grow up watching Sesame Street. I was like, what? That was very tragic. Sorry, Emma. It's never too late for Sesame Street, right? Okay, so we've got our middle column and our third column. So I'm going to grab the middle one now, and we're going to cut this one. Let's look at the mini catalog again to see how we're cutting it. So this piece you can see is a little shorter. This one's actually just 3 inches, and we have a full card front again, and then a leftover piece up here again. So down here, we're going to cut 3 inches here or 7.6 centimeters. And this is card 6. Next cut is the card front. So 5 1/4. And this is card 3. Okay. So I'll put that one right there. I mean, right now, these all look exactly the same. So that's not anything exciting yet, but you just wait. And then our leftover piece, this one is 3 3/4. So it's almost a square, but not quite. So it's 3 3/4 inches or 9.6 centimeters. And this is part of card 4. So we'll put this down here. I'm keeping my nice, neat little piles. I'm proud of that. Elizabeth, how you doing over there?
I've been up with you.
Awesome. I can't wait to see your car. Your cards are gonna be so great. The Post-its, yeah. Yeah, they do help. I buried that one though, so let's bring it forward. Yeah, Post-its are a very easy way to do it. I don't often have this size. This is a real luxury. Usually I'm tearing them. Okay, last column here. Take a look at the mini catalog one more time. You might notice now, column 3 is exactly cards. So we're going to do 2 card fronts, and then we have this leftover piece again going to card 5. So both of these card fronts are going to be cuts at 5 1/4 or 13.3 centimeters. Okay, and this first one is card 4. So I'll stick that down here. You could even put them inside, I guess. That would be smart. Inside your cards. Okay, now one more card front, 5 1/4. To be honest, one reason I picked this card, this designer series paper, was it seemed like a real challenge. And sometimes you want a creative challenge, right? And so I'm pleased with what I was able to come up with after being challenged. This is, oh, these are both card 5. So both of these pieces together, as we said in the beginning, card 5 is kind of hogging all of the DSP. That's okay. All right, you guys, so now we've got all our cards laid out. One thing I want to mention, each of these cards has like a different technique or thing that we're going to be trying to do with them. And card 3, I'll show you here. This is card 3. And the technique with this one is fussy cutting, which is great because on this card, they have this giant size tree. And so now you can take a look at your DSP and say, on my card 3, do I have a giant size tree there? No, I do not. Instead, maybe I'll cut out 2 of the cars. But then when I take a look here, I've kind of chopped my cars off. So now I'm thinking I'm going to just swap with this one right here and make this my card front for number 2 card. And this can be my card front for number 3 card because now I've got full cars that I can cut up and have on my card 3, if that makes sense. That's really the only one that you need to worry about. So just take a look at your DSP on card 3 and see if you want to swap that out. This is the moment right now. You have to decide if you're going to swap because there's no turning back. Just kidding. You can trade it up later if you want to. But for now, I'm just going to kind of tuck all my designer series papers inside and we'll be back to those in a minute. Okay, now the other thing that I'm going to keep reminding you to do is make sure you look at both sides of your designer series paper.
Will you show the cutting guide again? Some are using 6 by 6, so
Oh yeah,
the measure
this
so
one.
they kind of know what to cut.
Yep. I have an example where I'm using 6 by 6. So I'll be showing that throughout, but yeah, the measurements, you have a little more freedom when you're doing 6 by 6, but it just takes a little bit more paper. Like we shared that it would be 6 or 7 pieces of 6 by 6 designer series paper. But that's still a completely fun way to do it. Okay, we're going to put 2 inside here and we are ready to go with card 1. All right, I've got my Poppy Parade card. I've got card 1. I don't know that I need this, but I'm going to put it on the back just to save that for later, just in case. And what we want to do for, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. For this, the technique that goes along with this first card is ink blending. So I'm going to, there's lots of ink blending possibilities on this side because I've got the white, but what I'm going to do instead is flip it over. And on my garden green side, I'm going to do some ink blending in pretty in pink. And I have a thing. Okay, so what I'm trying to do on this one is not make it look like it's all one smooth pink. So when I first looked at this, I was like, green, how can I ink blend over green? I guess I was imagining red. Green and red make brown, so you do not want to do that. But you could do you could do crumb cake, you could do lots of different things. In fact, let me show you. This is the one from the catalog. And this paper is white or vanilla, one of the two. And they've ink blended, our designers have ink blended and made that entire background look a beautiful, I'm not sure, it doesn't look crumb cake to me, maybe a very light pecan pie, maybe. Yeah, so that's beautiful. So there's our first example to show you. Set that aside. And so what I'm going to do is try to ink blending. I always tap to the side first, and then I'm going to try to make like some darker pink splashes, but cover all the white up with pink, but then some places are going to just be like really dark pink like that. Stay with me. If you think that looks weird, stay with me because it looks really cool. And then one thing to always think about when you're doing something like this is where you're going to put your greeting. Our card that we're copying, it has the greeting right here. I'm going to try to follow these pretty closely, so I don't need to worry too much about ink blending in that area, even though I already did. So I'll do the same thing over here because I'm going to be covering that one up. Okay, Elizabeth, what are you doing over there?
I am using Old Olive, so let me just
Old Olive, awesome.
show you how this is looking so far. I'm
That's-
really liking, it's like a light in the trees kind of look, I think.
So you've
it
kind of done
showing?
the edges, right? So
Yeah.
you have sort of a spotlight in the middle.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I need to add a little more. The camera doesn't pick it up as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, add more. I was gonna say Old Olive, that color is older than me. It's Stampin' Up. There's only like a couple of them, like Old Olive,
Real red.
Real Red, Basic Black. Are there others that we're forgetting, you guys? You know as well as we do.
It's crumb cake. It
Crumb
used to be
cake?
called Craft.
It was Craft when I
Yeah.
first started, yeah. Yep.
Oh,
Yes. Oh, is this Heather's?
That one's mine.
This is Natalie's. Okay. So
Sometimes.
Natalie's using the modern Christmas, and she's done ink blending with, is it Summer Splash?
No, that's shaded spruce.
Oh, Shaded Spruce.
Mhm.
And if you look
it used to be
closely,
really light.
she added some Wink of Stella.
Yes, you noticed?
Where Natalie goes, Wink of Stella goes also. That looks really cool. Okay, and then Heather's
So
got
this is the original. This is the original.
okay,
And then
some different ones. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, let's
yeah.
put those out. So
Look at that
original,
range.
you're using traditional Christmas,
yes,
right?
traditional Christmas.
And then she's adding some different shadows, lightness and darkness. So here she added, here I'm going to put it on either side like this. So you can see original,
Mhm.
pink. What
Yep.
color pink?
Yes, that one is cherry cobbler
Oh, cherry cobbler.
and secret seed.
Oh my
with the
goodness.
blue.
Yeah. I love this technique. You can be creative in so many different ways. You can do like a totally ombre look. I've got one of those to show you in just a minute. Do you want to show yours again?
Oh, yeah.
Because you've got a little bit more Old Olive. So there's how she's ending, Elizabeth's ending there. Okay, I think I'm pretty good with mine. I didn't get it all covered as much. I'm talking too much. More crafting, less talking. Okay, but that's about the idea right there. Okay. So what we're going to do now is attach these to our card. It's a card front, so grab your adhesive. I've got my green glue and I just really love it. The only thing I don't like about it is, well, once it's stuck, it doesn't move. So that's a hard lesson for me because I like to move my paper around. But anyway, I'm committing tonight. Look, it's done. Okay, so that's
looks
that.
so cool.
Thank you. And now let me show you my finished version. This is the one I did before. And I added just a little greeting, one of the ephemera, wrapped some twine around it. And then you can see all of the different, in fact, now I feel like I need to add more to it. Because these are the one I did, ooh, the one I did tonight was a lot darker. Anyway, okay. But get at least to this point so that you know you have your foundation for your card, and then you can add the embellishments and the greetings later. One tip that I wanted to give with the greetings was something that I like to do is take a card base size, so like a half a sheet of cardstock, and run it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine.
There we go. Okay, we are in craft
Yay.
along session 2C. Now, what does this mean if you're joining us in 2C? That means there's also session 2A and 2B. So 2A happened. We introduced everything. We welcomed everybody. We asked you to share where you were joining us from. We asked you to tell us why you joined tonight. And then we played a video by Laura. She's one of our artists and design team members, and we had some problems. So we said we're going to post her video later. So you'll be able to see that. Don't stress about that. Then we moved to 2B. And in 2B, we turned the time over to Shannon. And Shannon started doing mystery stamping. Now, it's been amazing so far. So if you want to catch up to where we are, you watch 2B and you can get to where Shannon was. I'm sorry, we don't know if we're just having issues with some of the internet here in the building. We have some coworkers here having a little bit of problems. So we moved to a different place. I actually, as I was walking to my desk, I thought, oh, well, the good news is I cleaned my desk today. So it doesn't quite look so bad. That's
Way
like-
to go, Nat. It's like you knew you were going to have problems.
I know. It's like when you have neighbors, somebody knocks on your door and your house is a mess and you're panicked. I felt like, oh, I can invite people into my desk. I can go over there. It's not too bad. So we went to different places in the building. We've logged back in. Hopefully we're not going to have any more problems. If we do, we'll finish the mystery stamping. We can post those the other videos we have later, but we're going to do our best and see what we can get through. We're very lucky. We get to do these things all the time and we see problems happen all the time. And so I hope you can learn just a little bit from this, that like you just roll with the punches. Stuff happens, you move, you readjust, and you jump in wherever you left off. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to turn the time back over to Shannon and she is going to jump in right where she left off.
Yes, the word is we left off right at this part right here. So I'm changing to my hands camera. There we go. So you can see my little tip. Just take a half sheet of Whisper White or whatever basics, whatever neutral color you have. Put your stylish shapes or your labels all out, run it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine at once. And then you just have all those there. You don't have to decide and then cut it. I mean, keep a little pile of those to be used later. Okay, I wanted to show you, I've also got, let me see, where did my other one go? Here is my original that I just created. I also have made a set of cards that are metric size as well. So since the metric card base is taller and a little bit thinner, the DSP will look different. We're taking a 12 by 12 and we're doing the same cuts. So it's going to look a little bit different. So that's how that looks. So here's all 4 of my cards with this. Well, I guess I could do it like this. This is 3, not 4. Here's all 3 of my cards with the ink blending style. Look at this one right here. I did want to show this. I forget the name of this paper. Mixed media. That's it. Here's the original. Here's with Balmy Blue. Put around the ends. Yep, ink blended. And here's one with Daffodil Delight. So look how different that looks. How fun is this? Like, don't be afraid to do colors on top of each other that you think might not mix. Like doing Balmy Blue on top of red flowers. You might think that's a problem, but guess what? It's fine. Okay, let's move on to card number 2. Okay, let's check back with our mini catalog. Here's card number 2. And the technique that goes along with this card number 2 is Stampin' Blends. Here's the little hint right there, because there's a Stampin' Blend right there. Our artist that made these, you can see how she's made all of the trees and the color on these really so much more intense compared to like the color of this tree here. Completely different. Let's look at here I've got the finished version. This is even better. Look at that. That is just beautiful to really enhance the beauty of the designer series paper. So I've got my card 2, Petal Pink, my card 2 DSP, and I'm going to use Stampin' Blends. If you brought some other kind of coloring tool, grab those. I've got my Stampin' Blends here. Now I could on this side do some doodling or something like that, but instead what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this side again. I'm going to take my colors. These are all the coordinating colors. So this is Pool Party. And what I'm going to do is pick one image. So like this sleigh image, for example. No, I'm not going to do the sleigh. I'm going to do the bell. And all of the bells are going to be Pool Party. So there will be some consistency let's see, I'll do both bell designs. Some consistency here, but still lots of fun colors. So as you look at your paper, there's lots of different options. Let's see, I wrote down a few. Outlining, you could add a shadow on some images. Claire did that on the other recording, on the other craft along event. So you could check that out. Let's see, I've got petal pink now. I'll do the, what are these called? Candy cane. I'll do the candy canes petal pink. Elizabeth, what little technique are you doing with, are you using Stampin' Blends?
I am using our Stampin' Write markers
Okay.
because I wanted to use early espresso and we don't have that in a blend
Yet, maybe.
yet. Yeah.
Maybe we'll get that now.
Hoping. So I'm actually doing a plaid. I'm not quite done, but I can hand this.
Yes,
over.
please show us when you get it finished. I love doing plaids on,
Designer series
yeah,
paper.
designer series paper. Sometimes you just
Yeah.
need to draw, like, I don't know, it's like adding lines to balloons. There's all different things you can do with a ruler and Stampin' Blends.
Brings out your inner child, right?
Yes.
Just
Okay, this
play.
is cherry cobbler that I'm using here. That's pretty dark, but anyway, I'll just take all of Santa's sleighs and color those in with cherry cobbler. So hopefully you're getting the idea now what I'm doing with the same image. So I just got to hunt down all of the different sleighs. These little techniques are going to be really fun. When you do your post, when you add a photo of your projects that you're making to the resource post, make sure to describe what techniques you've done so that we can learn techniques from each other. Okay, I think that's all the sleighs. I don't see any more. And then I've got a little pecan pie and I want to fill in some of these reindeer. So I'll just go like this. And this doesn't have to be perfect. I'm kind of, it's a little bit sloppy, but it's going okay. You can kind of get the idea. Okay. So now it's like a totally different designer series paper. Pretty fun. Okay, are you ready to show yours? Okay, here's Elizabeth's. She's got, wow, these are perfect. You did use a ruler,
I
didn't
did
you?
use a
What's
ruler.
it, let me, can you show me the raw version? Sorry,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
That's what you're, okay, before and after. Look at that. So fun. Nicely done. Okay, so I'm gonna just add this now to my card front. And I did make sure to use some petal pink so that it coordinates with my card base. And we have the foundation for card number 2 complete. That's it. Let's look again at card number 2, the finished version, and look where the greeting and a few little embellishments are added to this here. So following along with that idea, here's what I did with my finished one. So there's the catalog version. There's my version. And then I added, well, see, this one I actually did a different card base. I didn't even think about that when I was laying them out tonight. But I added a little owl flying with some mail. I don't know if he's going to give Harry Potter a letter or what, but anyway. And then, Elizabeth, do you have your finished one to show? Could you
Not
show that
yet.
too? Not yet. Okay. You're going to take a picture and add it, right?
Yep.
Here's another one I did. This is the boho suite, and I just did kind of some doodling on the rainbow. I did doodling in Calypso Coral, Cajun Craze, and this was Secret Sea. And then just added a couple little embellishments there. So much fun. And then finally my metric version. Oh, well, this is it, but I didn't do any Stampin' Blends on that. Is this for sure card 2? Yeah, this is card 2. It still has Stampin' Blends that needs to be added. I don't know how I missed that. Anyway, but this has lots of possibility. I think adding a shadow around some of these, or you could even color in all of the white background with like a lighter blue or a yellow, something like that, pink. That would be really beautiful. All right. that's card 2. Got our measurements here still. Let's move on to card 3. And here is card 3. We talked about card 3 already because that is the fussy cutting card, where you pick something on the designer series paper and you fussy cut that out. So for me, there's not really a lot of options here. These 2 cards right here are the only 2 that aren't running off the paper, although this one would probably be fine. So one thing to consider is which way they face, but going the same direction would be nice. So I'll just fussy cut a couple of these images here. And then there's going to need to be some, like I'm going to need to have like a bigger label to go along with this one because my fussy cutting piece is not as big as the one in the catalog. Let's see, talking and cutting at the same time is hard. So the best tip that we always share is move the paper, not your scissors. So just slowly close your scissors and move the paper as you go. And if you absolutely hate fussy cutting, don't do it. Instead, get a die, cut it out, improvise for this card in some other way. But we didn't want to skip the fussy cutting card because some people really love it. Some people say it's just very relaxing. That's not me. I am not, I like it. It's fine, but I wouldn't sit and do this in my free time. So just I think I always try to get like an even border around the edge.
Got a lot of fans of fussy cutting chiming in.
Oh, you guys, I don't understand. What does this do for you? It's pretty cute when it's done though, I will say.
Yeah.
So I can get on board with that, I suppose. Okay, card 3. And then the same one with this. The cards aren't too bad actually because they do have a lot of straight lines. So, you know, Elizabeth is a lefty, so
Fussy cutting is
sorry, too bad, so sad. Your fussy cutting is always going to be hard unless you have some snips for left-handers. Aren't these ambidextrous though?
They are. It's more like your hand just blocks where you're looking, whether you're
Oh.
writing or cutting, it seems
Yeah.
like. So
I see. All right, I'm not going to finish that, but you get the idea. Keep on keeping on with that and get creative with your fussy cutting. So that's card 3, just had that one piece on it. Let me show you what I did when I finished. Oh, this is the card where we said, bring an optional embossing folder. And so there wasn't one with this suite, so I just brought the exposed brick. And I think that's a good generic one, especially for something like this where your cars are going to be kind of driving in front of it. So let me show you my finished version. Again, it's a different color card base, but little exposed brick background. I just used a big circle from the Stylish Shapes and just put those 2 cars right in front of it. So now your designer series paper becomes the main event, or is still the main event, but in a different way than the others. Let's look at let's see, here's the catalog version. This is beautiful because those deer are that metallic paper. And so this one actually is not an embossing folder. This one is tone on tone die. So you could do something like that. You could take just different images and do tone on tone. I love that look too. So you've got options here. Did you use dyes on yours, Elizabeth, on your background?
fussy cut the
With this background part?
Oh, I embossed.
You embossed. Okay. All right. Claire did some on her, so you'll see those photos as soon as we get that resource post done. Okay, so my version, catalog version, boho version. There's my fussy. This was so easy. All I did was cut this way. That's it.
That's my kind of fussy cut.
Yeah, it was super easy. I don't know. I'm still kind of undecided about this card because I'm like, it's like a rainbow card, sort of like kind of a fall and autumn rainbow, but then it's sort of like Roman vibes down there with, I don't know what I was trying to accomplish, but anyway, having fun. And then finally, with my other suite, my metric measurements, This one I didn't do an embossing folder or anything. I just loved the simplicity of it. I just cut out a couple of those and added that label, and it's just a very elegant, beautiful card. This is Petal Pink. It's showing up on my screen a little bit different, so I'm not sure how it's playing for you guys, but a Petal Pink card. Oh, what do you got to show over there?
Still working on it.
Still working on it. Okay. Okay. So let's move on to card number 4. We're halfway now. Here's card number 4 down here. And this is kind of weird because it's like trees within a tree, because that giant tree is cut out, but then you also see the designer series paper pattern trees inside of that. Plus we have like these 2 bronze accent pieces. Those were not included in what we've cut already. Those are extra. And then a little greeting. So the focal point for this is die cutting. So get your biggest die. And for me, it's this big envelope, or you could get a big label, either way. This envelope is interesting. Oh, it's a box. It's actually a box. And Elizabeth actually recorded a video beforehand. So after this presentation, you'll see a video of her showing you how to use this, how it's really intended. But I cut it out to see if there was some way that I could put it on my card to be my die cutting focal point. Okay, so I'm just going to, instead of making a box, I'm just going to fold these over just in the most inside score lines that are there, like that. And then down here, because there's 2 score lines here so that you can make a box, but I'm just going to fold them both up. So you do see score lines around there, but they're even, so it's not distracting. And that's it. Now I have a little envelope that there's like a big old bear climbing out of. Kind of funny, but it's okay. Works for me. And I'm just going to use a little adhesive to trap those flaps down. And this is going to be my focal point on my card. So let's see, where did this was card 4, and actually, let's see. Card 4 comes with 2 different pieces of designer series paper. So there's one that's the background, and then this one is supposed to be for the die cutting, but I needed a bigger piece, so that's why I did this one before. So use this one or improvise if you'd like. These are your cards. You can do whatever you want with them. And that's how I made this, okay? So then at this point, you kind of go like, okay, which looks better? Does this go on that? Or should I turn this over and have that side? I think that would be my preference. This constant checking. Never forget the other side of the designer series paper. It's kind of hard to settle on one sometimes. Okay, so let me show you what my finished card looked like. Card 4. So I've got that background piece there that's actually the cars. And then I have the 2 accent pieces I did in the green. So rather than just throwing out that one piece of DSP, where did it go? I don't know. This one. I used it to cut these little accent pieces. So you can do that, or you can grab a different pack of DSP. And then inside I just stamped on a little, this is Stylish Shapes again, from the North Pole, and a little ephemera with the little paws running up like that. So this, I mean, I thought of adhering it down like this, but I think it's fine to kind of come in and out of the envelope like that. And that's card 4. This is quite busy. There's a lot going on my version of this. Let's look at the catalog version. This one is very simple and beautiful and elegant. There's not even any dots or twine or anything. But one thing that I don't know if you can see, the edge of this big old tree right here has a little bit of ink blending on it. So that's very nice. It looks beautiful. So there's the catalog version, my version, my North Pole version. Here's my boho version, big old die cut. So I just die cut out of this DSP and showed a different, different die cut, different DSP shining through. That's pretty cool. And this was the one before that I was storming around the office going like, why don't we have any staplers with staples in them? So I found one, I just stapled right through the dimensionals and the card and everything. So that was a weird tantrum. And then, wait, is that the right one? Yeah, I didn't do the accent pieces on that one. But here's my metric version. This one, this is probably my favorite of my set here. I stamped on DSP just with Memento, die cut that out, and then layered it on this card with the little accent pieces and different. It's still a lot. Like, it's still like, wow, that's a lot going on, but beautiful too. This one, I kind of took a cue from this one. It doesn't have any twine or any dots or anything on it. So, okay. Oh, and here's Elizabeth. Ooh, look at that. Oh, look, did you sew on your leaf?
The dies come with holes so you can embroider
What?
on it.
Look at that. Let's zoom in on that. That
Yeah.
is beautiful.
Fine. The linen thread, whatever. is
Yeah.
part of the suite too.
Oh, okay. So some early espresso twine,
Mm-hmm.
stitching on the leaf. She's got some gold accent pieces here. That's lovely. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Again, pictures of all of these will be on the post that we do after this. So you can look forward to that. And we look forward to seeing what you're creating right along with us. And yeah, so how's it going? Are you guys, other than our annoying technical difficulties, is everything going okay? You guys like stamping along with us? Maybe if you're not leaving comments, we know that's because you're stamping, huh?
There actually are a lot of comments that are loving seeing all the different ways that you can decorate, use the paper.
Awesome. Yeah.
Techniques.
It is so inspiring. Like, what one person's idea where you just, it pops in my mind and I think, well, I'll just do that, you know, is inspiring to someone else. And I see somebody else's and go, wow, how did you think of that? And they're like, well, it's the only thing that came into my mind. So that's why our community is so awesome, because what's normal to us is like a shock to somebody else. So, okay, card 5. So on card 5, we've got these two, we've got a card front, and then we've got these two pieces that are 4 inches by 1.5 inches, or 10.5 centimeters by 3.9 centimeters. So that these are these two leftover pieces that were at the top of 2 of the columns. And what I'm going to do for this one is put this one down, and then these are going to be pieces on top. Now, these are, let's look at the catalog version. This is card 5. So you can see the card front, and then these 2 accent pieces, they're cut into this little banner at the bottom down here. So I've got my 2 pieces. I'm going to cut them at the same time so that they become the exact same banner style. I'll just cut up. It was probably like, I don't know, 1/2 inch or 1 centimeter, something like that. And then cut from the corner to the top of where I cut into it right there. So now I have 2 pieces that are exactly the same. Card 5 doesn't have a technique per se. The technique is more the template that we're using. So with those extra banner pieces, makes it fun. And so take a minute to decide which piece you want as your card front and which piece you want as your banner. But this is where it's nice. Our designer series paper designers are so smart, because they give us, a lot of our papers have like a bigger pattern like this and then a smaller pattern. So they play nicely together if you're putting them on the same card. Okay, so just, oops, that was a close call. And you can actually do one, like banners, one on each side if you're flipping them around. They don't have to both be the same like I'm doing. I'll put that one right here. And then they're going to overlap just a little bit. Like that. Or just an extra layer of interest. Okay, it's looking good. Card 5, got the foundation down. Let's look at the catalog one more time, catalog version. So you can see from here, we'll add a label, greeting, maybe some more die cuts, some dots to get to our finished card. And oh, here's my finished version. So I added another one of the ephemera, like one of those funny, oh, it's not, I shouldn't say funny. What is this? I'm sure it's a mailbox in some country, but our mailboxes do not look like this.
No.
Our mailboxes are blue typically, unless they're
antique.
like this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I think I recall now. I think maybe in New Zealand they have some like this, but I think they might be yellow. I know Emma's watching, so she'll correct me and maybe even put a picture of her mailboxes. Just kidding. We have Google. We can look that up whenever we want. Okay, here is my boho card. Whoops, these are kind of, pull them down a little bit so you can get a full view. Here's my boho card. So cloud cover card, DSP here, two different. So because it's a 6x6 that I'm dealing with, there weren't pieces left over like that. So I had to use two other, or it was different somehow. They weren't the same. So I used two different DSPs there, which gives it more busyness, but also, I don't know, something nice. That's why I picked a very quiet card front there, I guess. And then I love this stamp that I just stamped all over that with, what color was that? I think it was petal pink. So it's just kind of in the background. That's a small stamp, but it layers in together nicely. And then my metric card, here we go, little, what's the shamrock? Shamrock card with this DSP, the two labels, and the only ink I used on these cards was Memento, well, and Versamark, but so fun. When I first did this, I was like, wait, this is petal pink stripes on a Shy Shamrock card. That's weird. That's not a choice I would normally make. But because I had put myself into this box sort of like, I'm only using 3 pieces of cardstock for my cards, it forced me to move forward anyway. And I absolutely love it. I think it's beautiful how all the colors came together. This label is Poppy Parade. Okay. Elizabeth's finished card with our beautiful leaves. She's got more gold. So gold there, gold here. Cute. Let's see. Yeah. So her interpretation from the catalog one, super similar, but completely different. Gather. Ooh, was that card 5? Oh my gosh, we're on to card 6, you guys. And our internet has stayed with us. Oh, happiness. We are having storms today. I don't know if we said that, but let's blame the storms. I love the storms though. We need that in the summer. Card 6. Now there's only one small piece of designer series paper with card 6. It's either 4 inches by 3 inches or 10.15 by 7.6 centimeters. Don't be afraid to do. So see, for me, if I were going to use this side, I would need to turn my card to landscape. And our catalog version, these are all portrait, but I kind of wonder if that was because it looked better in photography. So feel free to do some of yours landscape if you haven't already, and if you prefer that, especially if your designer series paper requires it. So I'm going to turn it like this, and just glue this down. And then from there, you just embellish. So this is a super simple, again, just a template that we're following. And this is pretty fun because I think I always go to like a full card base, but look at this. This piece is 3 inches by 4 inches. It fits perfectly. Looks like the same edges around and doesn't use as much paper. So here after then I did a little bit of embellishing. So here's how that turned out. Sending merry tidings from the North Pole. Couple of ephemera. This one I wrapped with twine, the red and white twine. And that's it. Simple and fun. But I love how it's, I mean, our suites are just so brilliant because we've got packages and letters, we've got sending merry tidings, and we've got the people that are actually delivering the merry tidings in the car. So it's super fun that way. I breezed right past the catalog version, and not until this moment did I notice that this has a beautiful stamp in the background. So that's something that you could do, add with a smaller piece of designer series paper. You could ornament your card some other way if you wanted to, with tone on tone stamping. this designer series paper was also colored on with Stampin' Blends to add a more extreme plaid. So that's beautiful. Yeah. Do you want to show yours? Okay, Elizabeth's got hers ready. Here we go. More gold, more leaves, more DSP. Beautiful. So there's 3. And then I've got my boho version. I love this card. I don't know why, but I just wanted to stare at it when I was done, partly because when I was making this, I even said to Elizabeth, like, I need a high. That's all that will fit in this. And there was an HI in the stamp set, but it would have been a real pain. And that's when I thought, oh, thanks, because I've seen it before. We've done stamps before that say THANKS. So this is a Shannon original here. I'm sure I'm the first one to do it. Thanks.
So cute. And I
Yeah.
love the way you did the ribbon behind it.
Yeah, that's the, thank you. That's the Secret C ribbon and just a few little petal pink stars that are in the dies and a few little, I have to use these gems because they're last chance. These iridescent faceted gems, and they're my favorite of all time. So I'm starting to mourn already that those will be gone. And here's my metric version. Boy, I did them all portrait. I didn't realize that. But this one, look how cute that is. It's a itty bitty little ladybug running across the top of the designer series paper.
Adorable.
Thank you.
It's a lucky card.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, my mom loves ladybugs, so I've always thought that they were pretty cool. We just lost lights. Elizabeth's doing a dance to turn him back on. So just a little bit of DSP, and then these are stamped and Stampin' Blends and die cut out to be an extra embellishment. And then these are some of those new gems. These are part of the Lights of Aurora suite. Just that sort of frosty gem there. Whew, okay. What did I forget? Did I forget anything? I think that's it. I'll bring my, I'm going to bring back my, so I don't think I can. They're just thrown all over. So never mind. Look forward to the pictures, you guys. Let me show you the resource one more time. This resource, if you've joined us somewhere in the middle, this resource will be shared on the resource post that I'll do right after this, right after we end the live craft along. And this one is just one. We have them in every language. So check for your language and click the link and you can download and print this. This is a great resource for you to use when conducting your own craft along, or just print it out when you want to finish up your card. So you can see, here's the cutting guide for the 12 by 12. We designed it differently than what's in the catalog. So this is this, same. And then this are these here, same. So you can have that. And these are just kind of basic ideas. I give you permission to change it however you want, but this is a little template to help you follow along with the catalog if you would like. Okay, I think that's it. Nat, are you there? You are. Look at you.
I'm here. Great job, Shan. I hope you all looked and saw so many different ways that, like, there were so many different techniques in there, so many different products, so many different things we used. And so I hope it was inspiring. It was fun to watch the comments. I think people saw some new things and saw some new techniques. And I think you see products that you normally wouldn't be drawn to used in a way that you're like, I could do that. I really like that. And then the great thing is start thinking about how you can use this in your business, how you can use a craft along, the 12 by 12 DSP sheet, how you can use that in your business with customers, with your friends, and do an event around it. There's lots of creative ways to use this. We were so excited when we saw this catalog and saw this was featured in here. It was one of the reasons that inspired us to do the craft along, is because we saw this and wanted to use it. So it's really cool. And then I do have to say, I'm a summer person, and I like fall, okay. Don't love winter, but Elizabeth's cards made me like, okay, we can get into fall.
You're ready for the transition now after
I
seeing a little.
Now I can make some cute cards that I can send in the fall, and maybe that would make me happy.
It is my favorite season, so I can't wait for what's to come. Okay, I'm hiding my video now, and then we're going to something else, right?
Yes, thank you. All right, how was that? How did that turn out? How did you feel? Here's another kind of a poll question, so answer, because remember, we're going to be pulling names from this and be sending stamped rewards. We'll draw names to send some stamped rewards too. So let us know what you thought about those cards. What were your favorite? What did this inspire you to do? Do you feel like you could hold a mystery stamping event or hold an event using like a one sheet wonder event using the inspiration from the mini catalog. Because after I watch it, I feel like I could, and I'm really excited about that. Okay, we are going to move on next to a video that Elizabeth did. We pre-recorded this video because we used it earlier today too, where she's going to be sharing a wide array of products, with some things that are really new and current, and it's really cool. So you're going to want to watch this. I'm going to turn the time over to Heather. Heather's going to get that launched and going, and you will watch this.
Hi, friends. This is Elizabeth Belleville. I'm one of the demonstrator development managers here in North America, and I am excited to show you how we use and make some of the projects and products in the September to December mini catalog. If you're like me, you've looked through the catalog and seen some of the product and wondered, how exactly does that work? How does that die fit together? How do you assemble that? Or perhaps you see a different project and go, I would love to see some training on how they put that together. And I am going to walk you through that today. That is one of the lovely benefits of being a demonstrator and being in a group like this, where you can get some of that additional training. So let me switch my camera and we will get started, because we just got 15 minutes to blow through some pretty cool stuff. All right. Ooh, do you recognize this? This is one of the projects that is in our September to December mini catalog, as I mentioned. You'll find this, I believe, on page 21 of your September to December mini catalog. And so I'm going to show you that there's actually a method to this so that you can make boxes and dividers of any size once you kind of know how it goes together. So I have put the measurements of this particular box here in this corner. I apologize for my international friends. It's in inches, but like I mentioned, it's a process. So once you understand the technique behind it, you can figure out with your measurements and your sizes and what you're trying to make that way. So when the concept artist made this box, she knew she wanted it to be the width to be 5 inches and the height, maybe I'm getting them backwards, but basically 5 inches by 6.5 inches, which is how she determined the size of piece of cardstock that she would need, because she knew she also wanted it to be 1 inch tall. So by scoring on all four all the sides at 1 inch, she would need this piece of paper, the cardstock, to be 7 inches, by 8.5 inches. And so I have a piece here that I've already scored and cut. So when you cut, and they don't need to be perfect, remember it's handmade, not Hallmark, just cut some little notches and that'll help your corners be straight. So I actually already have a base assembled here. You can see that there's my base. Now with the window sheet, you can see here on this box that the window sheet is actually, the lid goes on top like that. Sometimes you might want it to be tucked in. And if that is the case, what you will, depending on which one you want to be over versus inside, you will want to score just a little bit less than 1 inch or less than what your height is. So for example, since this window sheet lid is over the box, you can either cut it just slightly larger, or what I did is I scored just a little under 1 inch. So it made the top a little bit bigger and the sides shorter, if that makes sense. And then you'll make your divider. So this is where you'll kind of decide, what are you putting in your box? Because you'll know kind of where you want that to fall. So the concept artist knew that she wanted to have one all the way down, which means since this is 6.5 inches, that's where we get this first divider. It's 6.5 inches by 3 inches. And the 3 inches comes because we want to have it 1 inch tall. We're actually gonna have to fold it in half, so that takes 2 inches, and then 1/2 inch of a tab to attach to the box, which is an additional inch. So that's where we get the 3 inches. So I have one here that is scored, but not attached. So you can kind of see we do a mountain fold and adhere, and then a valley fold for the 2 tabs. And that's how I made this one. And so we've got this one that would go, let's see, down here, or you could really switch it around however you want. And then I have my 3rd one that goes right there. And so once I know the placement and an idea, it's nice and snug, then I can use my adhesive, whether you want to use liquid glue and let it sit for a little bit, or you want to use Seal or Seal Plus, and you can. And then I've got my lid, which I've cut and scored and notched the same way, and then it just slides right on top. Okay, so that's how you make the box. And you can see, again, just how beautiful that is. Decorate it however you want and add that. So I'm going to show you one I made. One, I can't remember if I already said that, but I think it bears repeating. This has actually been made with our thick white cardstock, and it makes a nice sturdy base. Our other cardstocks work really well as well, but I have noticed that the thick works better. So I use that same method to create a wider box. So you can see here that this is about the same height, but I wanted my box to be a little bit wider because I wanted to include cards and tags that were made with the mix and match from our September to December mini catalog. And so I use the same method to kind of determine, all right, so I know I'm definitely going to want it to be 8.5, but since this box is also 6.5, so I used just almost a square. So I think actually this is 7 by 6.5. So I cut this to 8.5 by 9 and then scored at 1 inch on all sides to put this together. Now I just threw in some twine in here since I'm thinking of this as a card and gift wrapping kit. You could put stamps in here. You could put that's where it helps you to see that you just determine where you want dividers. I only use 2 dividers, not 3, since I had one going this way and one over here. But you could really make as many dividers as you would want because you know the method to figuring that out. Okay, so there is that box. The next thing that I want to walk you through, as you've seen from, I'm going to take this off. I taped it so it won't slide. Just a second. These cute little boxes that are part of the North Pole delivery suite. And it is so cute. So these little boxes are so fun. And some people might wonder, okay, how does this work where you've got this little thing that creates an almost like a button closure, and that's not automatically on the die. So I'm going to show you how that works. What I love about this die in the Jolly Delivery dies is it's actually sized perfectly for a 6x6 sheet of designer series paper. So if you have a stack, then you can make all sorts of them. So I'm going to show you how you line it up. If you look here, there are, I think that's focusing, there you go, 3 little notches, top and the 2 sides. And then you have 3 different options for the closure piece. Okay, you have a little circle. There's also a heart. Oops. A heart and a star. Okay, so I want to use the heart right now. So I'm going to grab that and show you how that works. It kind of looks like, to me, like a little baby's head. So you got the little curl at the top and the ears. So you want to line up the curl and the ears right in there like that. All right, so I'm going to show you what I do. Okay. Oh, The lights just went off. Hold on, I gotta dance. Oh, we'll get it back up. There we go. Gotta move. I'd like to move it, move it. Okay. All right. There are so many different ways if you have washi tape or post-it tape. I rarely buy post-it tape, but I almost always have post-it notes. It's great when you can get it just right, but it doesn't have to be perfect. There's actually a lot of wiggle room in there, I've found. So I just usually get it to stick right where I want with the post-it note. Okay, and then we're gonna feed it through. Yes, that's gonna stick out a teeny bit. Just like all right. But I'm actually gonna do two. So I've cut this one that will have, oh, it's a circle, not a heart. I meant to grab the heart, my bad. That's okay. We've got the circle. Okay, so I'm gonna cut one more without the circle, and I'm going to show you why in a little minute. I'm just going to run it through like this. No closure button. Okay. And this is actually the Elegant Pines Designer Series paper. It's part of the Elegant Pines suite. That is an online exclusive. I love how they've done the snowflakes out of kind of a tree design. Okay. All right. So I've got my two. And now I'm going to show you with the one that has the closure. Again, we're making a box. So I want to have some nice lines, and there's another one here. I did that just so, like, sometimes it's hard to see it, but I feel like if I fold it this way, I can feel it better. And then I know I'm scoring in the right place. Okay. This one. Oh. I think I left one of the plates off, so I didn't get great score lines. So using the right sandwich makes a difference. It's not an issue with the die. This one is user error. Okay. There we go. And then, just like the other box that we did, I'm going to use my Seal Plus. I'm just going to put some on these these little notched corners. And I want to attach these to these sides, just like that. Okay. And then a little box. This will fold in. You have, oh, is my battery not plugged in? Oh, I thought it was plugged in. Hold on. Okay. Sorry about that. Real life right now. Okay. Then it just closes. So this will be the top. And we fold this closed, and you have the most adorable little box. Like, just on its own, it's so cute, and there's so many different things you can put in it. I want to show you one of the things that I made just with some the Sweet Halloween sticker, DSP and sticker sheet. So I turned mine into, my family loves Halloween, into a little memory album. You could, I chose not to attach mine, but you could attach it and have it just kind of pull out like this. So just a little accordion album of some Halloween adventures that I had with my girls. So I used our letter size paper. I cut it, this is 2.25 inches. So you can kind of decide how you want to do it. So I cut them at 8.5, so at the 8.5 size for our paper here in North America. And then I trimmed off a little bit. I scored it 2 3/4 inches, cut off a little bit here, and used our 1 3/4 inch circle die to create a notch, and then added a little journaling card there. And so that's how I created that. And it's just a fun way. What a great, quick and simple way to preserve some memories and give someone a gift that way. One thing that I was a little bit sad about is that this didn't fit a gift card. You could throw some cash in here, but there is a way to modify this for a gift card, and that is why I cut a second one. So with this one, I'm not going to score the little sides. And what I love is that you actually can't see the score lines. And so the trick here is I'm going to use just these little flaps here. I will adhere these and fold these up here. So I'm just going to take some surplus this way and like that. I'm going to snip. I'm going to trim off. My scissors walked away. So pretend here for a second that I trimmed these off with my scissors, and you'll have a little gap there, but that's okay. But you can have a little gift card holder. It fits perfectly. So I do have one that I haven't fully decorated, but one that was already assembled. So you can kind of see that it actually fits. I ran the star piece through. So just like this on a strip of paper, and then cut the little pieces out, because it's just going to, it won't cut it all the way out. So you will have to use some detail type scissors to trim that and create your own closure. But that is how I created that one. And it's really simple, but you could decorate it, make the front really fun, and use any of the images. If you wanted, you could really use any shape so long as it fit through this notch, and play around with that. The possibilities are endless. And then I also created one here and used ribbon. So you can just slide it through that way and put your gift card in. And so it's coming up with your own closure and where you want to put it. So that is how you would make a gift card holder with that die. So I hope that this has been inspirational for you, that you feel more excited and more engaged and more trained on the really cool products that we have in the September to December mini catalog, and excited to share with other people, with your friends. Maybe have a party and share how you can make some gift packaging and gift card holders. It's such a fun time to make homemade gifts and gather together. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your time during this craft along. Thanks, everyone.
There we go. That was amazing. And I love the things that she showed. Absolutely loved them, Elizabeth. That was so good. I love to give gifts, and I love like any kind of project like that to give gifts. So what I want to ask those of you who are watching is, as you watched Elizabeth, if you were thinking like I was, your mind was going like, who could I make these for? Who could I use this for? Let us know in the comments who you would use these for, what you plan to make with either the box that she showed, which I'm so glad we showed that because we have gotten quite a few questions on that, or the die that she showed. How can you use that, and what do you plan to use that for? I just loved them. Thank you, Elizabeth. Anything else you want to share after that?
Oops. Sorry. Okay. Oh, no, because you have your sodas. There's so many amazing things that could be created with those dies and with like I wish I had more time to create more to show you, but I'm so excited to see what everyone else does and shares them. Lots of people commenting that they either have the dies and have already started playing with them or are excited to get them. So I'm hoping that we'll just flood the demonstrator planning place with how to use the box dies or how to create boxes with dividers and just really give gifts all season.
And it's fun because this kind of gets you started, and then you're inspired by one thing like this, and it just kind of trickles and snowballs, and you become more and more excited about the other things that you can do. So I hope, I'm thinking, and from your comments and things, that you have been really inspired so far as well. Okay, we're going to move on to another one of our fabulous artisan design team presenters. Welcome Ashley Van Camp. She's going to show some things that you are going to love.
Van Camp, and I am so excited to be a part of this Global Craft Along event with you today. I have actually been a demonstrator for 19 years, and throughout this time as a demonstrator, I have been shocked at all of the incredible experiences I have had. Obviously, we have the fabulous crafting supplies that have helped me grow and stretch my creativity. But I've also, on top of that, have had so many adventures. I have been able to travel with Stampin' Up! I have had so many growth opportunities that have stretched me and taught me as a person. Last but definitely not least, my favorite part are the relationships that I have made. So to all of you around the world that I have been blessed to encounter through the Stampin' Up! Journey and form relationships with, I am sending you my love. One opportunity that I am incredibly grateful for is the chance to be on the Artisan Design Team. Now, what is the Stampin' Up! Artisan Design Team? Let me tell you. Every year, Stampin' Up! Chooses about 20 demonstrators from around the world to share inspiration with all of you throughout the year. It's an application process, and applications are usually due middle of the year, and then Stampin' Up! Has their selection process to select the team. And then, throughout the year, you get to do a variety of assignments. For one of our assignments, we are divided into 4 groups, and each group gets assigned a set of products. It can be a suite, a bundle, really anything. And then each person in the group makes some projects with that. And then every Friday, Stampin' Up! Posts on their social medias the projects that we have made. So you have a ton of inspiration from the same set of products and get to see how versatile and all of that is. So that is one really fun assignment. We do some tips and tricks. We do some artisan extras. If you have paper pumpkin in your market, we also do alternatives for each month's kit, and then a variety of other assignments throughout the year that will come up. Number 1, shameless plug. Go check out the social media. We love likes and comments and questions that you have. We love sharing what we're doing, and so please check us out and feel free to share some love. And then number 2 is I'm a little bit obsessed with the last Artisan Extra project that was posted just a few weeks ago. I literally, sometimes you make those projects and you just kind of obsess over it. I don't think there's been a day that I haven't looked at this. So I kind of want to show you. Here you have a little holder that opens up. What I chose to do was make these 3 cards. And of course I stamped the envelopes. And so that was the last Artisan Extra project that I posted. But how about we make it with some new products that are currently available on pre-order? Yay! Way more exciting, right? The Delicate Pines bundle is part of the online exclusive offering, and it is actually included in a full suite and has beautiful papers and embellishments. And then we will also be using the branching out dies, and we are going to make a more sparkly winter version of this. Let me show you how to make this card holder. Now, I'm not going to show you the cards that are inside just yet. I'm just going to show you how to make the folder first. So let's get started. I have here for you, this is the template that I use for the base of the card folder. I will be posting this online after this event. So in the demonstrator planning place, I will post this. I will also post the metric measurements as well. So these are where you will score, and then you will cut these parts out. And so that's, can you kind of see where we're going with how it's going to all fold together here? What you will do is you'll take your bone folder and you will score on all the score lines and just score them in. And then the only adhesive you need, and I take this shorter end and I add tear and tape adhesive right here. Just peel off your tear and tape adhesive. Just adhere it on each side. And that is literally all it takes to make this cute little card envelope. And then voila, like look how easy that was. Here you'll see in the stamp set and dies, see how they have all these fun like builder pieces and stuff? So this flower right here is what I used to make these. It's what I did was I just added a little bit of ink on the flowers before I stamped them. I actually love using my glass mat for this purpose. But all you do is just take a blending brush, and I always swirl it on the glass mat so then you don't get those harsh lines necessarily. And I just want a really light coat of it. And then you go ahead and stamp these flowers, die cut them out, and voila. Now you may notice this little shimmery bit down here, the iridescent treat bags. I am obsessed with these. The second I saw them, I fell in love. One other little tip, I do not pre-score my belly bands because they can all be a little bit different depending on how it's put together and stuff. So what I do, and this is just a strip of Coastal Cabana, it's 2 inches by 11 inches. And I just stamped it with some of the stamps from the Delicate Pines, and then I actually splattered it with Wink of Stella. Because I have this piece over the belly band to kind of cover up the seam of the cardstock, I actually start with the belly band on the back and fold it in towards this bit since we are covering it up. I line up my belly band, and again, shout out to the glass mat because I love these lines so you can make sure everything's straight. So I line up my belly band, and then I do this about halfway, and then I don't super crease it yet, I lightly kind of fold and do that. And then I come in with my bone folder and I crease it this way. When I adhere it, I always make sure it's around my actual project with the cards in it, and then I will do some tear and tape right there and a piece of tear and tape right there, stick it together, and then add all of your embellishments. Now, do you want to see some cards? Here is the first card. Now look at that. How beautiful that is. And now you should know, if I let you guess, what that is. Yes, it's true. That is more iridescent treat bags right there for you. So for the background, I started with just your basic watercolor wash. I always just squeeze my ink pad together before I open it to get that pool of ink on the inside, and then push the pad in a little bit just so it's not kind of falling back like that. And then I grab my water painter, and I always paint first and kind of saturate my watercolor paper. This is the Fluid 100 watercolor paper, and I always just saturate that down, and then I come in with my ink. It kind of helps it blend better, which makes it more watercolory wash looking, if that makes sense. And I just want kind of a light layer for this. Through the magic of television, I have one pre-done here that is already dried. And then I just come on in and stamp my snowflake. On a bigger stamp, I always turn it over and ink it this way. I feel like I get better coverage that way. So you just stamp your snowflakes and then grab a treat bag and run it through with the die. So you want to make sure you have this one that has that full snowflake, and that is what I use to cut out this from the treat die. And I just put the bag down and run it through. It cuts through both layers just fine. And then you have 2 of these images, and then I just used a glue dot, glued them together, and then stuck it down to that. And that is how you get that shimmery, sparkly. Is that not gorgeous? I just have my Wink of Stella, and what I do is I make sure it's nice and juicy, and again, the glass mat, squeeze it out even, so I have a little bit right there, and then just make sure it's really saturated. Take my lid, and you just flick it on there. Don't know how well this is showing up in the camera, but believe me when I say it is beautiful and stunning. You let that dry, but it is all shimmery, gorgeous, and beautiful. And then I also use the holographic resin dots for the middle of those, which are these because I'm obsessed. I am learning to do winter my way, and some of that is sparkly and shiny. So there is a fun stamps greeting in the Delicate Pine stamp set that says warmest winter wishes. However, I didn't want the word winter, so I actually pulled out my Notes and Totes stamp set, and look at how cute that is, sending warm wishes. Okay, card number 2. What I actually did for this card was I made my own stencil with that die. I cut a piece of window sheet, and then see how this cuts out. You just plop that on the window sheet, and then that cuts out the individual petal pieces. I actually added a soft bit of color to this before I stamped the flowers. So it is extra important to get off some of that ink when you want a really subtle bit of color. Bring in your mask. The key is whatever flower you're doing, just really hold the mask down right by that flower, and that'll keep it from shifting. You could tape stuff down. There you go. How cute, right? And then I just ran it through the exposed brick embossing folder, layered it up on my card. Now I will show you also, yes, more treat dies. This is when we brought in the branching out labels, and I just use these 2 small ones. This is my iridescent treat bag layer. Like, look how pretty that is. And then this is the label that goes on top of that. And then layered my ribbon behind. So that is that card. It's so shimmery in real life. How gorgeous is this? Now you're well versed and you know what these are. I used a treat bag to make a really quick and easy shaker card because you just get this variety of color and it's just so gorgeous. So to do this, all you do for this easy, quick wow is you pop that cardstock into your treat bag, and then you take these gold shaker stars, which again, this is on the pre-order right now. And look how many you get. And oops, you can throw yourself a little confetti party right there. And I just take some handfuls. There are so many in here. It's a very big container. And I want enough to kind of be scattered around. And then you just fold this over, and I fold it over real tight and just crease it. And then I just use tape. Don't worry, this is the back. You will not be seeing this part. And then look at how fun and easy that is to make a little shaker card. So to make the snowflake, you need 3 of this big piece and 3 of this little piece. But fun fact, there is just 1 of these, so you have to run that through 3 separate times. But there are 3 of these little ones, so you can just line that up on your cardstock and run it through at once and get all 3 at one time. But I like to have like 1 sticking straight up, and then you just angle it around, and you can just use a little liquid glue right in the middle of that. And then you take your little ones and you just want the little one in between all the big ones, if that makes sense. I like using a liquid glue because you have a little wiggle room if you need it. And then just add your greeting. I did 2 strips of that fabulous sparkly ribbon, and then add it to your card. So now you get to see the full project put together. Which is your favorite? And then putting it all together with all 3 cards. What a fun gift this would be to give to a friend who also struggles with winter when they need a little pick-me-up in the middle of it. Slide your belly band right on, and there you go, your cute little card holder. I hope you enjoyed this card set. I know I had a blast making it for you. Thank you so much for following along. I hope you make your own. And don't forget my shameless plug earlier. We really do love your likes and comments and questions on our artisan posts. So feel free to always share some love with us. And a reminder, I will be posting the templates because I expect you to make your own. And have a fabulous rest of your Global Craft Along day. Bye-bye.
So the whole time she's going, I've got Heather, like, Heather, pop your head out here. So they Heather's like right behind me. I'm like, get out, stop it. Because I hadn't watched her video before this. I wanted it to be like a surprise, you know. Get out. Everything. I was like, this is amazing. I love the iridescent bags just because I think they're beautiful. My mind had not even gone to where Ashley went with those. That was absolutely incredible. I loved how she used stencils. And looking at the comments, I think everyone there is going to be adding those iridescent bags. Everybody, the iridescent bags to your next order if you don't already have them. So dang cute. Thank you so much, Ashley, for sharing. Well, our time is almost up. Our time is almost up. Thank you so much for being patient with us today as we had a few hiccups and we worked together to get here to session 2C in order to wrap this up. Before we finalize, though, we've got to share 2 challenges with you. So these are 2 things that we'd love you to take part in. First of all, we want to invite you to host your own craft along. So gather your friends, your customers, your team for a fun, simple, creative session in person or online. You can use our mystery stamp and idea and make it your own. So to do this, you're going to plan your craft along event, online or in person. You're going to use the one-sheet wonder that we're going to provide for you, and you can customize it however you like. And then we'll be checking in with you over the next few weeks to see how you're doing. And then secondly, we want everyone to share their creativity from the projects they have made from our Craft Along event. After this event, we're going to start a new thread where you can post your photos. We'll create this in Demonstrator Planning Place. We can't wait to see everybody's creativity from today's mystery stamping. And in this post, we're also going to share the PDFs for the mystery stamping, so the cutting guide in language, and then we'll share links to YouTube. We might have to do some editing and edit our 3 sessions together in order to make this work. So it might take us just a minute, but we'll get that up as soon as possible. And then next week, we're going to make sure you have all the information you need through a weekly update. And so it'll have details and highlights and everything right there. So like I said, we can't wait to see all the awesome projects you have made and hear how your own craft along events go. All right, before we go, I just want to mention another event that everyone is invited to, and that's World Card Making Day. It's coming up on October 4th. This is a free virtual event, and it's a great opportunity for you to invite your friends, family, and fellow crafters to invite us to celebrate World Card Making Day. One of the best parts about this event is the opportunity to craft together. This year, we're doing something I'm really excited about, where we're going to create cards using the Handmade and Heartfelt kit, which I happen to have right here. This is an all-inclusive. It comes with everything you and your customers need to make 10 cards. So there's 2 each of 5 designs. This kit is available on September 3rd. So crafting along with us with the Handmade and Heartfelt kit, well, it'll add fun to the event, but if you don't have it, it's all right. It's not necessary to join. But we want to encourage you and challenge you to hold a World Card Making Day event. This is happening. Check the website for when it's happening in your market so you can see where it is. World Card Making is just an hour, so you could do an afternoon where you have coffee or tea or a late lunch or whatever it is and craft with us along together. Anyone's welcome to join, and anyone can bring their own supplies, and you can bring your own supplies, or you can simply watch us. You and your customers, though, you're going to need to register to receive a link to this event. So everyone who has the event will be able to watch it, and then you can watch the recorded event after it's over. I'm talking too fast and I need to breathe. Okay. To make the most of this event, invite your friends and family. It is going to be presented in English with language interpretation, voiceover with subtitles in English, French, German, and Dutch. So check out the landing page under Happening Now for more details and for the time it will be happening in your market on October 4th. Woo! Okay, so now we're at the close. Remember to keep sharing and engaging to win some of those Stampin' Rewards and to work on the challenges that we gave you. And we look forward to seeing all of your creations. Thank you so much for everybody joining us. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thanks, everyone.
Behind the scenes stuff. Thank you for all of you who joined us and being patient.
Yeah. Can I just say, sorry,
Yes.
Nat, can I just say thanks to you guys for being here and all your comments. I'm trying to read them as we go. So thanks for the feedback. It's been fun to spend this time with you and to see the different ways that you react to all of the different things shared. And in this post that we do, hopefully in the next hour or so, we'll also include links to the artisan videos so you can watch those directly if you want to review those. And I think our artisans are both going to do a separate post as well. Ashley said in her video she'll be sharing her templates. So make her cards. Let's see a ton of those in there. Those 3 sets of cards and then make the 6 tonight. And that's, to me, that's almost the best part of doing a mystery stamping, is seeing everybody's different papers and different interpretations. I was thinking when you were talking, Nat, like you could do a class, you could get 1 pack of DSP and have 12 people there and everyone make 6 cards, and there wouldn't be 1 card the same. They'd be all so different and unique. And that's what makes our craft so amazing and so much fun.
I was even thinking if you wanted to do like a shorter, like if you just had a few minutes or you were doing like a coffee lunch kind of thing, you could even just have 1 piece of DSP and have 6 or 12 people there, and you just pass it out and everybody gets to make 1 or 2 cards and
That's
see how
a great
that
idea.
turns out too. There could be so many fun ways to do it. Makes me laugh. Cheryl said, thanks for a fun 3-part night. I like your attitude, Cheryl.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
It's
We
like
got
a
a
mini
nice fun
series.
3-part night. Yes. Well, thank you so much. Continue to comment. If you have any questions, please place them in the comments and we will talk to you all soon. Thank you.
Bye-bye.